So how did my first day of playing New World go? Well, I found it a little bit funny that I was walking through so many bushes to grab nuts. I found it a little ironic that the most female-looking face in the character creator actually resembled James Charles. And I realized why I hate playing on PC. Or at least why I hate mouse and keyboard. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm trying to find something, but I don't know what it is. And I did find it rather concerning that as soon as I left the starting area, it seems no one has a consideration for fire safety. Yeah, Smokey the Bear is probably cringing his soul out right now. But anyway, all jokes aside, I hear that Portland is actually very lovely this time of year, and this just happened to be a mostly peaceful protest. So I actually avoided the betas and the alphas for this game. I really tried to learn as little as possible about it as I could. You know, I wanted to go into this kind of fresh and, I wanted to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and just kind of discover everything as I went. So, looking over the character selection, it wasn't really that great, but obviously that stuff's going to be hidden by gear anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. I did manage to get my name, so that's a plus. And I did kind of find it a little bit funny that the end of this scene is actually getting into a shipwreck. Because after that shipwreck, that's when it really started. For me, it wasn't actually that bad. 1800 didn't really take that long. It took about an hour. There were other people that I saw who were complaining about 20,000, 30,000. So there was some huge wait time for some people. And I can imagine that if you, saved the day or you took the day off or something just to play this game and you were sitting there for like 4 or 5 hours going into, the middle of the night, still in queue, yeah, I'd probably be pretty mad too. But besides that, I can't really think of a game in recent times that had a smoother launch. I mean, yeah, there were some issues with, just the number of servers that they had. But honestly, I really didn't have that many issues. I didn't have any glitches or any game-breaking bugs pop up. I had a fairly smooth experience. The worst things that happened was, maybe a icon disappeared from my main screen. And then I just had to go through something and, it came back. Or sometimes I would appear inside of like a spawning object, so I just had to like mine or destroy the object, and then I was out. Just something weird like that just happens. But obviously there's an unstuck, tab there that you can actually click to teleport out of things like that. So not really that big of an issue. And everything else, obviously this is an Amazon game, one of the few popular Amazon games, and it runs well. I'm pretty impressed. So that's great. But, if you're unfamiliar with this game, this is New World. Now, like I said, this is an Amazon game. It is PC only at the moment. I hate to say it, but I think they've canned the actual prospect of having console games, maybe. Because obviously I don't know what they were thinking in terms of popularity. But last I checked, they hit like the 5th highest concurrent player count in Steam history. So this game looks like it could be insanely popular, especially with all the, disgruntled World of Warcraft people out there. And while I don't think that this has that uniqueness that World of Warcraft did, I don't think the story is as good. I don't think, the humor is there. I don't really think it's as lovingly crafted and interesting as World of Warcraft was in its day. But I will say this, it has one of the biggest improvements over pretty much every MMO I've played. It does not do the tab targeting system. So you are actually engaging in real hack and slash combat. You are actually shooting a musket. You are actually shooting a bow and arrow. You are really actually playing this game. Like that's something that I can't stand about MMOs. You're never playing them. You're just tab targeting your spells, your attacks, your whatever's do it all for you. And that's, outside of the confines of the game, that's terrible. Like I don't want to play games like that. So thankfully, this actually involves some, mechanics to it. Like you can dodge attacks, you can block attacks, and you don't just get hit by things just because, the game says you do. But anyway, what did my first day entail? Well, pretty much I wanted to go, be a farmer. That's basically it. Like, my whole game plan was, I'm going to worry about, higher levels after, I start playing the game. I'm going to worry about PvP after, I just want to go in, farm stuff, and that's it. And to my delight, you actually get experience from farming things. You actually get experience from crafting things. So you can level up while you're doing all this stuff. And I actually kind of enjoy that, because I'm loving the fact that I can just be as weird and be as hoarding as I like and still actually get through this game. So yeah, I'm basically just picking up everything I can find, crafting everything that I can, leveling up my different trade skills, that kind of stuff. Just going through it however I want. And I do intend to go into PvP. I do intend to go into, like PvE related content, sooner or later. But for now, I just want to pick some herbs. For now, I just want to, skin some boars or pluck some turkeys. I just want to go fishing. Whatever it is, I'm just going to go do it. And I'm going to level up that stuff. And by the time I do hit, 60 or, maybe even once I get to like 40s or something like that, I'll probably dive into some other content. But I'm not having a problem with doing what I'm doing. So if you are the person who's like, I don't really like MMOs, I don't want to do all this stuff, like, you don't have to. You can go level up, go do some PvP. You can go, farm if you want to. You can go play PvE. You can do the dungeons or whatnot. So there's plenty of stuff you can do. I mean, if you want to go, be the auction house leader or whatever, hey, set your goals high, farm that gold. I mean, there's plenty of ways you can play it. But, one of the biggest problems that people have with MMOs is that combat system. And like I already talked about, this doesn't have that combat system. This is your more traditional hack and slash style combat. So for that, it's definitely a lot better. And if you're one of those players that loves the grind, you love the Division because you want to just spend, your time improving your character, well, that's pretty much what this is about. Except this has an actual grind. It's not like 1 to 2 days you're at max level, and then, just because of all the changes that they made to the game, within a week you've already got like max gear. This is going to be one of those things where you're going to actually be grinding this game out. You're going to be constantly but slowly improving your character. So there's going to be a little bit of a long haul here. And if you're more of the casual player, look, you get to take your time, have as much fun as you want, do your own thing. And that's good. I mean, this is what I want to play. So I'm looking forward to this. But, like I said, my first day consisted pretty much of farming and collecting everything that I could. There's other people on the server that are going to be doing a lot of PvP, and that's great. I'll get into that eventually, because obviously I want to play the entire game, see what it's got. And the skill gap here could be a little bit difficult. I can't really quite tell yet. There's just obviously a lot of moving pieces, a lot of different builds that are in consideration at the moment. So who knows what will actually be useful, what won't be. And only time will tell if, just some of the things in the game are just complete dog poop, or if everything is kind of evenly balanced throughout the board, So I look forward to, playing a lot of these different builds and having some fun here. But yeah, I know a lot of Division guys are mostly into the shooter aspect. And yeah, I can understand why some people wouldn't play this game. I can understand why you might not enjoy it if you are into the Division. But the thing is, a lot of the people on the PvE side aren't necessarily, driven by the shooter aspect alone. Now, if you wanted to, you could pick up a musket and actually shoot in this game. It's obviously a little bit slower. It's pretty much like you're using a 700 and you're just, taking marksman shots at everything. But it does exist. You can use the bow and arrow and shoot at things. So, I mean, you can play that way. And of course, it's an RPG, so, the time to kill is probably very similar to the Division. So, I mean, it's not like it's a completely foreign thing. But again, if you were into PvE in the Division, a lot of it that actually drew you to that is probably very similar in this game. I mean, that's what most players like, that RPG aspect. And honestly, this seems to be doing fairly well for me. So I don't know what the longevity is going to be. I mean, I paid $40 for it. And as long as I get, 100, 200 hours out of it, I mean, it's money well spent. Hopefully, you know, there'll be future DLC that'll keep me engaged. You know, who knows how long this level grind is actually going to take. You know, there's just a ton of different, you know, just avenues here that could see this game being, you know, 1, 2, 5 years, you know, who knows? I mean, you could be playing it forever. No, okay, that's an exaggeration. You're not going to be playing it forever. But I mean, you know, WoW has gone how long? You know, like 15 years now? Actually, more than that, like 17, 18. Came out in 2004, and they're still releasing content for it. Obviously, it's dying, but you understand, like, they're still releasing content for it. So, if this game stays popular, if they keep adding content to it, you know, this could be one of those games that you have been wishing for. You know, that game that you could play for 10 years, where you could keep your character and progress throughout, you know, the world, and, you know, just keep leveling up the same character. So, I mean, if that's what you're interested in, I highly recommend you take a look at it. Now, I know this is PC only at the moment. Like I said, hopefully they, you know, reevaluate the you know, proposal of going to console. Hopefully, because I hate playing with mouse and keyboard, and I actually ordered an old Xbox One chat pad so that I could link my controller to it and map some buttons onto it, so I wouldn't have to like farm everything on my desk, because I don't want it. I don't like it. You know, I like my controller, and that's the way I'm going to keep it, or try to keep it. But anyway, I understand that a lot of people who play on console don't generally have a super high-end PC. And to be fair, my PC isn't that great. I think it's about... It was like a mid-tier PC maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I have a GTX 1660 Ti, and I'm actually able to play on very high. So I can play on the highest settings. Now, of course, my frame rate is not great. I'm like, if I'm in an area without anybody, I'm hitting a frame rate of about 30 FPS. If I lower it down to medium, I'm generally in the, you know, like 70 to 80 range with nobody around. And in the cities, I'm generally speaking, I'm around like 40. So, I mean, it's not the greatest frame rate. I'm not going to say that it's amazing frame rate. But what I'm saying is, you know, if you put it on the lower settings, you know, which is probably still going to actually be better than console settings, the actual settings themselves, I mean, the actual image quality, the graphics and everything, they do actually look pretty good. Even on medium, on high, they look great. And on very high, of course, they look even better. But what I'm saying is, you know, if you're not into the graphics just for graphics' sake, right? Like, I don't need to have the greatest graphics. But, you know, this PC that I have, which was under like $1,000, I believe. And that was like I said, like 3 years ago. It plays it just fine. I have no issues with it. So I'm pretty sure you could get a PC with a 1660 Ti on it and probably pay, you know, $500 or less. Now, of course, that's a huge investment for just one game. But, you know, if you do like these games, you know, if this is something that you actually want to play, if you want to actually get into PC gaming, you know, I think this would be a great entry point. You know, this would be something that's going to be there for a while, that's going to keep you interested for a while, and make it worth it. You know, if something else new and good comes out, you'll be able to use that PC to play something else. If not, you know, I mean, it's still a pretty good investment. I mean, you know, look, if you're one of these Division guys who has like me, you know, like 2,000 plus hours in each game. I don't even remember how many days I've gotten in both of them combined. But, you know, just the amount of value that you get out of the one game, whether you think it's, you know, the greatest game or not. I mean, if you've got 2,000 hours, it's got to be good somewhere. Well, if this game turns into one of those like 2,000, 3,000 hour games, I mean, is, you know, $540 is that really a loss, you know, for you? I mean, that's a lot of value, I think. But anyway, I'm not going to tell you have to get it, or I'm not going to say, you know, one way or the other. I'm just saying that, you know, if this is the kind of game that you like, and you've been thinking about getting a gaming PC, I think this would actually be a pretty good time to go. You know, time to take that plunge. I'm not going to give up on console because I just prefer it. I've got a PC because I need it for various things, and a lot of the times I actually play strategy games. That's pretty much the only thing I play on PC, strategy games. So I don't really need the best graphics because I'm not doing first-person shooters and that kind of stuff. I'll do that on console because I prefer it. Strategy games, can't stand it on console. But anyway, if you are an Xbox guy, if you are a PlayStation gal, whatever it is, consider it. And you don't have to, again, you don't have to just jump on it right now. Maybe if you just want to wait a little bit, see if they announce any future plans for it coming to console. But if Elder Scrolls was any lesson, it took about a year or more, I think, for them to actually release the console version. So, it's up to you guys. I'm just saying that I think it's pretty good. I got a PC that could play World of Warcraft when it came out. So, I didn't regret that decision. And now I already have a PC that can play this, and my recommendation would be, yeah, pick one up. But again, that depends on if this is your type of game. If you're just kind of like on the fence about it, you're like, I don't really like MMOs, don't do it. Don't be like, but Cowboy said to get it. No. If this isn't your cup of tea, don't push it. If this is something that you really wish was on console, again, maybe it's time to consider it. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
Alright, seriously. How do I get into my inventory? Like, I'm just hitting buttons here, and I'm just crouching and ducking and jumping. What am I doing? What am I doing? Oh. Who makes the inventory shortcut tab? Who does that?